Hey everybody, how you doing? Today is going to be awesome. Honore, how are you?
I am fabulous. Any day that starts with a shoulder workout is a
Oh,
good day.
shoulder workout. Was it okay? Is it just shoulders or was it like shoulders and arms?
It was shoulders with hit. So it was like two shoulder exercises and then burpees because you don't use your shoulders while you're doing burpees. No,
Never.
never. No. So
That's
just shoulders,
awesome.
just all points of the shoulders. And so then it was, then they had to make the decision every woman has to make after a workout, which is, do I wash my hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm Italian. That's never like a decision to be made. You just have to.
Right, 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 right.
Otherwise, I'm going to be like, hey, just like sheen. 'Cause-
Yes,
yeah,
yes. So thank the good Lord above for dry shampoo and an updo.
there you go.
Yeah, yeah, because my I can't lift my arms.
And I haven't had a problem with that for quite some time because I've been shaving my head since 2005.
I would say one of these days I'm going to show up with a shaved head, but I'm not.
The Sinead O'Connor look.
Nope, not going to happen. I'm not going to do a Demi Moore in Seal, whatever that movie was.
Yeah, she was the Navy SEAL in that
Yeah,
movie. If
yeah.
people aren't catching our 90s references,
G.I. Jane. G.I.
yeah,
Jane, the movie. It's a great movie, y'all.
yeah. So it's G.I. Jane, and then we've also referenced Sinead O'Connor. So those two 90s
Right.
pop culture references for those
That's right.
who don't think that Honore and I remember that time period.
Right. We're much too young for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was just a kid.
Yep. Yep. I won't say anything about what I was doing in the 90s.
I'm
Nope.
joking. I was definitely not a kid. I mean, kid
Right?
compared to who
Yeah.
I am today, but um anyway, so what's new in your world creative wise?
I am working on slowly but surely two books. So the next book that I'm releasing, which will be as we record this next month. So in June of 23,
Hmm.
write your first nonfiction book, a primer for non aspiring nonfiction authors. And also writing, so putting the finishing touches on that, getting the artwork and all the, doing all the things, writing my advanced reader team email sequence and setting up my pages and getting my labels ready for all the things, doing my marketing action plan from You Must Market Your Book, and then writing You Must Monetize Your Book,
Hmm.
which will be a January 24 release.
You must monetize.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And
So that'll be like turning your book into multiple income streams, all that kind of stuff.
so you're basically on like a book a quarter schedule for 23.
Yeah, I had seven books, including workbooks, scheduled for this year. And then one I decided to bump completely
Hmm.
to an unknown date because I really want to get some more experimental time under my belt about it. Um, the first, so you must market your book, the best-selling book formula, and write your first nonfiction book. So January, March, June. And then my September book is the monetized book, which I moved to January because I really do want to write fiction. And there are only so many hours in the day. And I decided that people could wait to monetize their books. And if they didn't want to wait, they could take the course that goes along with it that already exists,
Yeah.
Build a $1 Million Book Business. And so there's that. Also, the mastermind, right? We have mastermind, we have EBMC. Like there are a few things I'm doing. So I just decided that that another book could wait for this year. So yes, I was on about a book every other month for this
Wow.
year, skipping summer, but I just pushed that last one into the next year instead of pushing it to November. I thought I'll just wait till January 24, give myself a little break, write some fiction, have a new
Nice.
fiction idea I'm rolling around in my head.
I have to keep like I have a bunch of Google Docs that are like my outlines for each one of the fiction ideas because
Yeah.
I
So
will
many.
just, yeah, they just never stop coming, and I'm like,
They don't.
I want to do this, I want to do that, and I got to like stay focused. So I've got them in a row, so I can't get to the next one until that
Yeah.
one's done.
I know we have a topic, but sometime we'll have to have a conversation about people who are scared someone's going to steal their idea. Cause they're like, I have an idea. And they'll go, I'll tell you about my book, like a concierge client, right? Doing a bespoke book. And they'll go, I want to tell you about my book, but I need you to sign a non-disclosure. And I just kind of laugh and go, okay, I'm so not going to steal your idea. No one's going to steal your idea.
Not only that, but there is no way someone's going to come up with this same story I'm writing.
Right. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
people are very afraid that other people are going to steal their ideas. I think you're more likely to have someone steal your company than your idea.
that's true.
Right. Once you put something in place, somebody will steal that. But like, they don't understand the hard work that goes into building something. They are not going to steal your idea and then go write 80,000 words and go through the construction process, the editing process, the revision process, the publishing process, all of that. If somebody is going to steal your idea, they're lazy.
And that means, yeah, one, they're never going to get all that done.
That's
Two,
right. They're never going to get all that done.
just having like, arced my own stories, I have a hard enough time keeping up with my own story writing. There's no way someone's going to put all those
Yeah,
pieces together that same way
right.
and make it anywhere near reflecting that story. And the minute you think that's going to happen, think about how novel an idea you really think you're having compared to everyone who's ever written a book before you. I mean, it's like,
Right.
I
There are
agree
no
with you. It's
unique
kind of,
ideas, right? There are like 12 main ideas and everything is an offshoot of that. So
yeah.
anyway, what are we talking about?
We're going to talk about you must market your book,
Okay. All
right?
right.
We've done a
Excellent.
couple of videos where we've covered the first 5 chapters of the book.
All right.
But not only were you and I meaning to talk about email list building and marketing and maximizing your email list for your book, anyways, right? We were talking about that anyways in our own business, but
Yep.
that just so happens to be the next chapter of the book, and so it's very timely.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about this time of year, but I'm just seeing all these email offers flying around from all the the names right now saying, here's how you build your email list, here's how you do these things. And I just
Mm,
love that in your book you kind of lay out tried and true. It's not gimmicky. It's just like, this is what actually has worked for
yeah.
my business and my book launches. And I was hoping we could talk about that a bit today. So
Sure.
you want to dive into the uh why building the email list is so important in the first place?
Yes. Well, interestingly, I met with another publishing person yesterday. I was at an event of publishing professionals and I was talking to a gentleman and he said, I don't know if you know, he didn't know me very well. So he's like, I don't know if you know, but your email list is so important and you want to sell direct. A lot of the big names are now selling their books direct and they're having their books being fulfilled through a third party instead of print on demand through the big, Amazon or Ingram. And he said, and having your email list is really important. He's like, do you have an email list? And I'm like, I have an email list. And, he was just talking about how whenever somebody buys your book or anything that you sell through a third party, whether it's Amazon or it's Redbubble, right? Whatever. Those companies don't give you the contact information of your customer. So having an email list, first of all, like having an email service, right? That's the first thing. And then having an email strategy, which I think we'll get to shortly, is really important. It's the way that you own your relationships and your way into their inbox. And so there are 2 ways really to connect with people directly. And one is through their email inbox or through their phone, right? So call or text. I'm not going to call and go, did you get your book? Did you read it? To someone that I don't know. But people can join your email list and you actually own your email list. It is the thing that you own. So
Right.
very important to have a communication process that you own.
And I was just talking to a client this morning about their email list, and they were a little discouraged because, there's only X number on their list. And I said, we've
Mm.
only been building it since December. And, this thing is something you're going to build for years. So, the quality of the list really matters. I'm sure we'll talk about that, but it's not just this number of people that you have, it's the right people on that list. And
So important.
that was what the genesis of our conversation was, is how do you get those right people? And she has a very niche business in a very, very, very particular industry. And so I told her, I said, you're dealing with a small pool of people in the grand scheme of things anyways, compared to like many other industries that are out there that are just flooded. So
Right.
that's cool because your industry has kind of pre-screened your list a little bit for you. Now you just need to get people onto that list in an organic way that helps them know, like, and trust you. And I love that about your approach in the book, because you said that every author that that's successful has a tool belt. And on that tool belt, there are several things: their email list, at least one tool that can help them write better and faster, a website, their preferred writing software, and coffee, or tea, right?
All right, here we go. I got 2 cups.
And of all those things on your list, I love that you put the line right after that. It says, so for those of you who looked at the first one and cringed a little bit, which, by the way, that was an email list, you should be assured. And it's for that very reason that this is the thing you're going to own that helps you stay in direct contact with the right people in your business and establish that know, like, and trust factors. And I think it's so critical that people embrace that part of the email list first, because it's really easy to move right past that and jump right into like how many people are on your list. And you and
How
I've
many
had
people are on your list? What's the open rate?
right,
What's the conversion? Like all the things that turn people into numbers, which I don't like very much.
right,
I don't like that very much. I understand that we want to have traffic and we want to convert them, but I cannot train my brain to think about the people who come and watch this video as traffic,
right,
nor am I wanting to convert them or you, right? I don't want to convert you. I'd like to connect with you. And if possible, I would like to serve you.
right.
But I don't look at you as traffic, although I understand that you have to call them something, right? So I would call you viewers. And I hope that we are adding value. And that means you will become a connection and maybe a customer or client.
Right.
It's just different language, but they don't have the viewer and customer conference. They have the traffic and conversion conference, which just on principle cannot attend because I can't look at people as traffic. And so I think having that relationship with people and being in their inbox lends itself to so many magical happenings later when you don't look at people as a number, not just a number. Although that's how we keep score. It's like I get on the scale and the scale gives me a number. And sometimes the scale is crankier than other days, but it's a thing. It's not a human. That's the difference, right? So we keep track with numbers of how many books we've sold and how many courses we've sold and how many people sign up for something or how many dollars we make. But I think once you can go, okay, well, that's how we keep score. That's all fine and good. But now let's talk about what's the connection, what's the relationship we have. I think then you get into like, then how do you make your email, which is why I like Jeff so much, Jeff Felton so much, is he's like a human. It's a SHSE, a human sending an email. And I went, oh, I love that message so much. Because it's so important to look at the fact that I'm a human sending an email to another human.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how else to establish that know, like, and trust in an engaging and interactive way outside of communicating directly with somebody. And the email gives you the ability to do that when you can't be face to face. Also, it's on their time, right? They open that email when they can, not necessarily when the phone rings. So I really like in the book that you make a point about why this is so important over social media. And what brings that up is you brought up numbers, right? So people are worried about the number of people that they have on their email list, but that's normally behavior associated with like numbers of connections on LinkedIn or followers or whatever on any of these social media platforms. And if you just get immersed in the numbers and not necessarily what's happening with those people that represent those numbers, you lose sight of the fact that on those social media accounts can be taken from you against your will tomorrow, right?
Today,
Yeah, I mean,
today.
and you don't have any way to recover that list. You don't have any way to reach those people directly in short order. And the email that you were talking about, owning your email list, that is the value of that, right? Like you have that security, you have those email addresses, those first and last names, and those relationships that you've formed in a less public setting than
Right.
social media normally allows, and with a lot more security than social media. And I think it's just important to note that, like, even though social media may bring those people to you, it's no substitute for having that email list.
Right. It's important to have a social media presence, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I have on my social media, everywhere you look at me, I have a way for people to connect with me in a place and in a way that creates a relationship.
Right.
Because I don't own those social media sites, therefore I have no control over whether they decide I'm worthy or unworthy of being on the site, whether they're going to post my posts or let me keep them up or anything like that. And so I look at it like a total bonus. If someone discovers me on social media, or they go and they discover me somewhere else and they look me up and then they follow me, that's a total bonus. But
Right.
ultimately I want the right people to join my email list so that we can develop a relationship and see if there might be something else we can do later.
Right. So how do you get them on that list? I mean, what are you doing to grow your list? Today I gave my client call. I gave my client one thing. She doesn't currently, she's very young in her business. She doesn't currently offer any free lead magnets and anything on her website that you can download, go visit, anything. So I think that the natural like progression for a lot of entrepreneurs is to start with like freebies, right? Like things you can give away, checklists, templates, ebooks, which always makes me cringe when someone says ebook, because I know what they're giving away is not a real book.
Yeah.
It's just like a downloadable PDF that they wrote, and it's like not book quality stuff. So I'm just going to say a downloadable.
Yeah.
Unless it's a real copy of your real book, don't
Right.
call it
So
an
I
ebook.
used to give away, you must write a book, but I realized that that was getting people on my main email list, but um, it wasn't the lead magnet that I wanted. So more recently I created an 8-day write your book challenge, which gets people kind of off the couch and into the writing chair
I like that.
by giving them, 15 to 20 minutes or less per day for 8 days, things that they can do to really kind of move the needle on their book, where they feel like, oh, I've really started the project now. And then they go on to my regular list. And that is the high content daily, media information. That is, I believe, based on feedback, getting the know, like, and trust factor handled.
Right.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
people were finding out about that through your social media and through your website,
Yes.
correct?
Correct. Yeah. So I have that on the front of my website, and then I have it pinned to the top of my Twitter feed, in my bio on Instagram, and in my bio on Facebook, as well as pinned and it mentioned in my LinkedIn profile. So I have it in those 4 places so that wherever someone finds me, they're going to get the same message that I have this free 8-day write your book challenge, and it seems to be working. So I have a few people every day that are opting into that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if, I get more traffic and there's more conversion, but ultimately I'm interested to know if that's something people want and if it makes a difference, right? So I'm asking questions throughout the series, like, is this moving the needle for you? Is this helping to answer your questions and help you to get unstuck? Because I want people to go from being an aspiring author to being an author. That's my goal. So I created this challenge so that they could get enough done in 8 days so it would move the needle.
I love it. So you're using an 8-day email based challenge.
Yeah.
Right? So that engages them directly on email. It's not just like a lead magnet capturing their email address and
Right.
then providing them a different product. You're actually using email as the product as well, which I love.
Yeah. And it trains them that they're going to get valuable information every day from me. Now, my emails that
Right.
come Monday through Friday with a recap on Saturday are designed to take no more than 2 or 3 minutes to read. So you can get a cup of coffee, you can sit down, you can read the email. You're going to go, oh, this is valuable information I will use. If I don't use it today, because that's not where I am in my book process, I will use it someday, but it's valuable information that they can use. And then it's 2 or 3 minutes and they're done. It takes me 2 minutes to heat up my cup of coffee in the microwave after I've let it cool. So that's what I feel like people have. I feel like busy people have 2 minutes here and there to read something valuable and get valuable. So there's no fluff. It's all meat. I think that's what people want.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And so in your book, you talk about some of the key fundamentals to having an email list that functions. One, you have to have a provider. You list a couple of providers in there. But I love the point that when you say, look, when you choose however you're going to provide these emails, whether you're choosing Kartra, Keep, ConvertKit, MailChimp, whatever, it's a professional platform that has this intended design purpose, but you're also thinking long-term about it, right? Because you had switched at some point, and I've even done that in the very early for me. And then it is painful. And so you want to kind of think long-term when you make the choice in the first place.
Yep.
And then I think you make a really important note that I don't hear a whole lot of people talk about, which is why I want to call it out real quick, because we only have a little bit left time to talk about it. But I love that you pick a specific topic or topics, right? You are very intentional about saying, when you sign on to this newsletter, I'm going to talk about this thing or these things. Yep. And it's not just this smorgasbord of misdirection or whatever you just feel like that morning. You have, like, I sign up for Honoree's email list. I know I'm going to learn about books, book marketing, self-publication, all the things that community wants to hear.
Yep. Every aspect of thing is what I cover in a year's time. So it's a year of non-repeat content.
Love it.
2 minutes a day, 2 to 3 minutes a day. That's what I do.
Now you do that format, you do the daily distro, which, by the way, I read every one of them every day. And then I have a folder that's set aside for Honoree's newsletters.
Oh my
because God. Guys, I'm telling you right now, if you're on anyone's newsletter of any value and you don't have time to read it, don't leave it in your inbox and don't put it in trash. Put it in a folder like that. And when you can come back to it, you have all of them in order, the whole trove of valuable information sitting there. I love that about your email. And while I'm a weekly email distro, I appreciate your daily emails. And my weeklies are a longer form email, but they come out once a week. And yours are a little bit shorter form. Yours about half the length by time to read. Mine are about 4 to 5 minutes. Yours are 2 minutes. Yep. And yours are daily. So there's a couple of different formats that people can think about what works best for them. I really find both of them helpful. And I love that you have the Saturday recap. In case people don't want the daily email, they can go to the Saturday recap.
Yeah, I was finding people unsubscribing and saying too many emails. And I thought, well, what if I could still have my daily? Because I have a lot of other people that say, I get my cup of coffee, I sit down with your email, I journal about it, I make notes, I add to my plan. So I didn't want to take away their joy. I didn't want to lose subscribers for people who thought there were too many. So I just decided, let me just do a Saturday recap. And that way they can click on the ones that look interesting. They can kind of scroll up and down the main page and see what they want to read and what they don't want to read.
Love it. Love it.
And also I spent a lot of time curating the content. I got very intentional. And I think this is a great place to leave the email conversation. Maybe we come back to it another time.
Yeah.
But I spent some time really considering what it would take to provide a fully comprehensive arc for my readers and provide it in that bite-size pieces. Because if I tried to cover all of that in one email, like doing the recap as one email and just doing one email a week, it's a lot of information, and the brain says 1, 2, 3, many. So if you can give just a couple of meaty ideas and then move on, and that no one's to say you have to have a weekly email or a daily email, you can have twice a week, you can have once a month, as long as it's consistent. But for me, I made the decision to curate the content and put it in order so that there's a continuous flow.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, yeah, Honore, thank you so much for sharing
Sure.
your insights from the book about email marketing. Keep keep your eyes and ears peeled for a future episode where we'll continue the conversation about chapter 6 of You Must Market Your Book on email. And appreciate you guys joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're not currently subscribed to the podcast, go check out the podcast. We're on all the platforms, including Spotify and Apple and Google and all the places. So we would love it if you guys could follow us here on YouTube, follow us here on your favorite podcast subscriber or sorry, podcast platform. And like us, trust us,
Ring
join
the
us,
bell, all the
all the
things.
things.
Thanks so much, everybody. We appreciate you watching. Have a great day.